You can never die. Born in the dark, but I chose to be the light. Look at me funny, I cut out your evil light. Words of advice, bitch, don't kill my vibe. No more depression, please don't kill my pride. Road of religion, I'm catching them green lights. Spread out my wings, I'm catching them free flights. Free as a bird, out of sight. Singing every little thing gonna be alright, yeah. Hey,
Yo, we back again, man. Well, another episode of the Gentleman's Lounge, man. Back with some heat, man, so stay tuned. But you already know, sponsored by, first and foremost, our people over at Sovereign Brands. You know, we got the Bel Air Rosé and the Bel Air Luxe. If you ain't tried it already, man, definitely go try that. But you got your boy, the J. Jones, a.k.a. Jared over here.
Man, you got Les. It's more bald ass Les. What's up, y'all?
Got Handsome Phenom, the one and only. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
And happy to be back as Dr.
Yeah.
Mac and Dr.
Oh, yeah.
Only.
She's
back, man.
Number
She's
two. She's back.
We brought back a favor from last season, man. We listened to the people. They really enjoyed your episode.
Oh, wow, that's
so
cool.
we had to bring you back. There's a lot that has changed, a lot that has happened. So
Things have changed.
You've been cooking. You've been in the kitchen cooking. Like catch the viewers up, catch the fans, everybody up on like what you've been working on, what projects you've been working on lately.
You know what?
You damn near got the keys to the city. So.
I love this city, absolutely. Since the last time I've been here, been doing a lot. My company, Pretty, has grown substantially. We're doing some work with some girls in Jamaica at the end of the year.
Shout out, yeah.
So we enjoying that. And of course, your city treasurer of Chicago thought that maybe she would bring on the first community psychologist to kind of work in this city. So I'm your assistant city treasurer of the best city in the world, Chicago.
That's dope. That's dope.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She would love to come.
And for those that didn't see the episode that you were on, and shame on y'all if y'all haven't, kind of walk them through what your specialty is. That way they don't think we full of crap when we actually talk to them about some stuff.
You guys did good.
Yeah.
So I am a community psychologist, and I specialize in how African American women communicate about sex and reproductive health and the correlations between our mother and daughter trauma and all of that good stuff. So from that, started a nonprofit, CPS partner, and author, Black Women, Sex, and the Lies Our Mothers Told Us. You know, Amazon Bezos them said number 21 book for Black women. So I've been digging that. It's pretty cool. So expanding at the end of the year because we got some stuff coming up in 2024.
Don't forget about the little people.
No, who little?
Like, you know, success, you know,
Out.
you know, we're gonna make sure that people can actually catch you on the YouTube channel, man. We're gonna make sure we post your page.
Tags
so
and all that.
Thank you.
Information.
For
sure.
I appreciate that.
But I think we just need to hop right into it because last week's episode, we played this game called Tonight's Conversation, and there was a question about submitting or women submitting to men.
That word.
And there was a lot of women in the comment section of the post, and they were just like, why do it's 2023? Why do men feel like women need to submit to them? And I think they all took it kind of the wrong way. So let's first and foremost, let's start out like what is your idea or what is your thoughts on men submitting to
shout out to the
women submitting to men.
Shout out to the people that got it right though. People that was in the comments that like was breaking it down. I was like, damn, they done went to the scripture. They done broke down the statements and shit. Shout out to y'all.
Y'all got good commenters.
For that emotional intelligence, you know. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, first I'll say like where I've come up with these theories and mixed with research and all that stuff is because I've had the privilege to speak to thousands of Black women that have just shared their stories, right? And I call it research and do all the stuff that I'm supposed to do with it. But I've had the opportunity to speak with a lot of elders and kind of compare it to, you know, some things that the boomers think and then compare it to some things that millennials think as we make our way down to how we want to engage with Generation Alpha, right? As we clean these things up. So we understand that, you know, words do have power and they're based in what your culture said it was. So if you heard submission as, you know, the word that's in the definition in a superior, which means there has to be inferior, which means the minute you say the word, I have to prove that I'm your equal, right? So it's kind of like you lose before you even start the discussion just by choosing that word. So
True.
you have to define it based on how it makes you feel, and if that's a bad word, it's a bad word. If it triggers her, don't use it. If it triggers him, don't use it. Just figure out a way to handle your person.
I'll give you an example from back in the day. It definitely was a trigger back in the day. I think it was like when me and my wife first got married, maybe like a year into the marriage. And we were traveling or something, and I had everything planned out, and she kept asking me, she's like, "No, but you gotta do this." And no, I'm like, "Yo, just chill, I got this." "No, but you gotta do." I'm like, so she over there like trying to do all the work for me that's already been done. And I told her like just relax, but she just kept jumping in. So after a while, like I had to pull it to the side. I said, "Yo, just let me lead when it's time for me to lead." All right. I said, "I told you I got this. Chill out. I ain't need you to talk. I ain't need you to jump over me or nothing like that. I told you I got it, baby. Like, cool." "No, but I said, I was like, that's what I mean by submit. Submit. And it was just like a whole nother thing. We good now because we go into our spiritual counseling. We good. Because it's not, in my opinion, let me know if I'm wrong. It's not about being a slave. Like, it's not about like, yo, I need you, I'm right, you wrong, so just shut up. It's not about that. I feel like it's no different than the presidency, right? Like, my job is to take your words, take your advice, make the most informed decision, and based on what I feel is the best approach. Now, I may still feel like I'm right. You might come with some very good information. However, you got to trust the person to lead. How many times we done been in a place where you like, damn, this person, they're about to make the wrong decision. But you know what? I got to ride this boat. I got to ride it. I got to ride this ship, AKA Trump. You know what I'm saying? Where you like, yo, I didn't vote for him, but however, he's still my commander.
Still the president.
I live in this country.
I got to submit to it. That's just what it is. That's just one example.
I mean, like I said, the words you choose, right? For my husband and I is, I'm not getting in that car. Okay? And that means if we go here, we're going to drive this thing off a cliff because he's an alpha man, I'm an alpha woman. We made a choice to be with people who are like thought leaders and influencers in the same house. So it's an ebb and flow of submission based on who's the subject matter expert. And I respect what he knows. He respects what I know. And I try not to speak on things that he's worked to learn and understand and grow through. And he tries his best not to infringe or mansplain things that I've put my time and effort and education and experience into. And I think the challenge is we try to hop into each other's lane when it's like, if you want us to be in both lanes, you should probably be by yourself, right?
Right.
Because you don't want to compromise and you kind of want to do things based on how you've always done them in your house, on your block, with your family. And it's like you joining a whole nother culture. So submit.
That's
I think it's like a give and take.
Yeah.
A man can submit to a woman just like a woman can submit to a man. And it's it's just like you said, it's timing and situational.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people just took it the wrong way, as if like, because I was one of the comments that I pulled out, and I ain't gonna read it all, but I'll read a part of it. But it was like, how do you define that? One makes all the decisions. He only speaks when spoken to. Submit means yield to the authority of another. Why should a grown woman not want to be an equal partner? Why would you want a woman that doesn't have autonomy and not be able to make the decisions equally with you? This sounds more like of a parent and a child relationship, not to adults.
So the dictatorship.
I think Dr. Mack kind of answered that question.
The word.
Yeah. And I'm just like, people just took that and they took it out of context.
Yeah.
Because again, I think in relationships, people are going to equally have to submit to one another. But the way that I was speaking on it was that a woman is not going to give you the autonomy to do that if she don't feel like you have the tools to, one, make the right decisions,
right? Yeah,
the best decisions for the entire party, and that you don't essentially just make her feel protected, like overall.
So safety
Yes.
garners submission, right? If I know that you got it, I can put my worry down. But if you're getting a woman who has the qualities to be completely independent and autonomous of you, sure, you respect it, and she's here to join you to help you build whatever you're building. So that comes with some thoughts and some opinions and some, all of those things. But if after your consistency in certain places, you always hit the mark, then I can rest. Now, some of us don't, and then we find ourselves like edging you guys completely out because so much of it is too much and it's too mean and it's too aggressive, and it's like, now I've been on time for every single date for the last 2 years. So are we really going all the way in on this tardy moment? And you can't back down to just the data of it. Then it's like it turns into a lack of gratitude, and then it turns into feeling unappreciated and all of those things that kind of strip you off. So then you don't feel safe.
Yeah, right.
And we lose.
Yeah.
Man, I don't share space on the throne.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you. But that's the funny thing.
They
I like
finna
to
be
put
on your
things-
ass.
I like to put things in layman's terms. Like, so I agree with you 100%, and I submit to my wife daily. I mean,
Yeah.
any smart husband should.
Yeah,
you got to lose those battles, and then
Yeah.
the whole point is winning the war. But when it comes down to like big decisions with the household, stuff like that, I take everything she says into consideration. Because, like you said, right, you got to leverage her strengths. If it's like contracts, if it's anything with like some lawyer type stuff, like I give it to her. Even though I know I can do it, I give it to her because that's what she does. She's great at it or whatever. So I won't proceed unless she gives me the thumbs up because that's what she's great at. And but there's other things where it's like, yo, we can't share the throne. There's only one decision that can be made. We both can't sit here and be like, all right, I think we're gonna do this and then this. Nah. There's one king. There's one king. There's one queen, and I need to elevate you and highlight you as my queen because that's exactly what you are. But we shouldn't. It causes confusion, in my opinion. I have kids. It causes confusion in the household. Y'all hear me? When it's not a clear line of, okay, this is the leader, this is the direction. Now, every great leader you will see listens to his counsel. Like he has a very great supporting cast. I have a really good supporting cast of friends, but also my wife is dope. You need that. All right, that's what a good king does. But when you got people that's battling you, where you like, yo, this seems to be confusion. I could have sworn I was the general, and then you over there trying to send the troops to the war, and I'm over here telling you chill out. I feel like this just causes a lot of headaches in the household.
I think that the coolest thing that my great grandmother and my great aunt told me, they were giving me a toast at my bridal shower, and they said, just remember that you're the neck. The head doesn't function, but it's still the head.
Exactly.
And I think that when you make the choice to have, a leader, it does provide you with a different level of peace, truly. And I think that it is the gift of a partnership, the gift of a marriage, is you being able to be the queen, because the queen has to nest, to reproduce, and name all of that thing that fits in whatever book you read. But it's definitely a conscious choice to shift and change, because you don't have to do all of it anymore.
Yeah. And that
I agree.
That brings me to this next topic of this new age soft girl era.
Yeah.
I guess. So a lot of I don't know when the shift changed, when a lot of women became strong, and I love that women are strong and empowered, but now they're talking about getting
They
back to
always
this.
were. They just louder now.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
be loud. Yeah, you should.
Getting back to this soft girl era of like being more emotionally in tune and letting the man lead and things like that. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you think we even got to this point?
So when I think about the history, and not just Black history, just women's history, right? The obedience that was required of you because you were born a woman made you less than from birth, and put fear in your family even to have a girl, because if you were disrespectful, to your dad, there could be physical violence. If your dad didn't agree with who he would hand you off to, you couldn't necessarily have the option to fall in love or do anything radical like that. It was, what would advance the family. And then your husband then ruled you completely mentally and physically, right? So if you were disrespectful, if you decided to wear something risque, if you decided to be opinionated, he can commit you and literally sign you over as a ward of the state based on you going insane. Right. I mean, there are, it's torturous literature that's out here about the different things that men had the power to do to women for generations. Yeah. So we get to a point, we no longer have to march in skirts, and we have to fight for every little inch of everything. We can open our own bank accounts without getting a male signature. So it's like we have a voice now. And as you said, Lester, we're not saying anything new. We're screaming like whispers of our ancestors, right? Yeah. That just had to take it. So now that we don't have to take it, we can choose a husband, not to have a life, not to have nice things, not to travel, because I want a partner. And if I don't want a partner, I don't. If I want multiple partners, I can. And that's just law now. So the idea that we can say it, we're still in our infancy state of being able to be radically loud and free and have a voice. And it's shocking, especially to our fathers and our grandfathers, because they're not used to women speaking that way, and they truly mean it. So we're hoping that our sons are familiar with having a gender equal, and then the choices will be different.
You know, you brought up a great point, because I was reading, I want to say it was in the Wall Street Journal, about just how marriages are going nowadays, and it's a huge decline in actual marriages. And then it's even worse when it comes down to like black women, and they look at like how black women are more educated, they're more professional, they're making a lot more money, but how there's a decline. So I'm curious what your feedback is on the why. Now, they had a lot of different statistics. They were stating like, okay, it's because there's more options. You know, people are like, yo, I don't need to settle down right now. You know, at first that was the fear, where you're like, I got out of college, I need to go settle down real quick, I need to have these babies. Nowadays, things are being, you know, prolonged a little bit, or at least put off for a little bit. But I'm curious what your feedback is on why the decline in the number of people getting married, and then why such a decline in the number of black women getting married.
I think first off, we have to let the data settle, right? You know, society has to go through its ebbs and flows, and we're in a renaissance for a lot of things. So we're going to look at the numbers for a lot of things in like 10 or 15 years, whether we're looking at diet changes, skincare changes, what's happening with the air, like life is changing. So we have to look at the marriage numbers as it relates to older marriages, because we're coming outside of like systematic and sociological standards where you're thinking about marriage in college. And your next thing to do out of college is getting a husband. And the most unfortunate reality is those girls really get one because of the press sometimes, or the timeline of I have to do this by this time, I have to have a baby by this time. And then some of them find themselves in poverty. Maybe they didn't build the career that they wanted to build and didn't understand and recognize the expense of a child. Maybe they accepted abusive relationships based on the fact that they had a child by this person. They're caught up in the brand of playing wife and the brand of playing family and having to get the post and have the wedding. And then when all of it settles, if they get it, it's like, well, who am I? You know, and what's my purpose and what do I want to do? And then now we have all of this extra stuff. So I think that our young people and our teenagers are seeing that. They're seeing it in their mothers. They're seeing it in their aunts. And they're like, wait, I don't want to do that like that. Yes, I want a husband, but I kind of want to figure out what I want to do first and get some stuff. So we might have a lot of 40, 45-year-old weddings, you know, coming up.
The thing is, too, is social media, entertainment, music has an influence on it as well. You got women living fuck nigga free. And, you know, it's a lot of, you know, Megan Thee Stallion and different artists are creating music to not tarnish the relationships or marriages within the black community, but it's like they're giving women the opportunity to not think for themselves, but like do what you want to do. You know what I mean? You know, go out there and, I don't know, shake ass, do what you know what I mean? Do what you want to do rather than submit to a man or get in a relationship or a marriage this early at least. You know, they having fun with it. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but when we make the comparison, I mean, I would never let my daughter watch some of the stuff or listen to some of the stuff that is, because it's all about, if you talking about city girls and stuff like that, all right, we ain't talking about Megan Thee Stallion. Like, the woman's educated, she in her bag, she's a businesswoman, she knows what she's doing. And her music like is, her music is like, you know, provocative a little bit, but it's still good. But then you got people like the city girls, everything's contradicting.
No, for sure.
Where it's like, okay, you know what, nah, if a nigga ain't bringing in all this money, like, you know, he ain't about to fuck. And then you talk about like, yo, I got all this money, so I'm about to go fuck whatever nigga I want. I'm confused. I don't know what message you trying to give me. I don't know if it should be professional and sleep with a guy that got money, or if it's like, nah, make your own money and then pick who you want. You can't. I'm very confused with the music that's going on today.
That's what I said. Music has an influence.
No, 100%.
Oh, for sure.
I think, but it never has more of an influence than the people that are right in front of you.
Facts.
I think that, you know, I loved gangster rap. I loved Lil' Kim. I knew every lyric to You Don't Know Nan, but I understood the women in front of me, you know, and I understood options, and I understood like what I wanted my brand to kind of be, based on, you know, whether it was women my brothers dated or the women that I saw around me, right? So music is truly entertainment. and it can be influential. And the most unfortunate reality is if you have no other influences, then it does do that.
Yeah.
But when I think about the Megs and the City Girls and, you know, the what's considered hypersexual music, it's louder now, but it's not a new lyric or a new act that they're discussing. It's not a new dance that they're discussing. And whether I was influenced by, you know, listening to my dad and my uncles talk shit while playing cards versus what somebody was saying on the radio, my uncles had a bigger, you know, a bigger influence. But I think the women are rapping about what your options are.
Yeah.
I think if we're looking at, you know, the 20-somethings that are making those music to like direct our path, that's a challenge. But they are hustlers and entrepreneurs, and they understand how much building wealth gives you freedom from certain types of relationships. They're reading their contracts and starting their own businesses, and they're playing the game they need to play to cash out. And I am intrigued by them because when they turn 40 and 50, they can now really, really build some things once they come into their adulthood. You know what I mean? We think about Biggie and Pac and even, you know, Malcolm X, we lost them before the real development hit. So I'm wondering what they will become and what type of, should they choose to be wives, what will they be and how will they, you know, turn out. But I appreciate them for ringing an alarm for women to kind of be a bit more aggressive, because as much as she say you better show up with a bag, you also have to make me come. The city girls do not play games about having great sex. That's true. And they're making, you know, other women say, you know what? I have been doing this for a long time without coming in this, you know, so they, you know, I respect them for truly just their authenticity, and they don't give a fuck.
No, they don't. But I appreciate it, honestly, because it's like, we've been so used to a specific type of woman based on what we saw growing up. And now, like you said, you got this new generation of women that are kind of ringing the alarm. And it's just like, damn, go ahead. I want me a chick that's going to pop her shit. Like, I'm going to salute you all the way, you know what I'm saying? But also, at the end of the day, you still need to have that other side to you where it's just like, this ain't really, I'll turn up to this, I'll listen to this, but it isn't influencing how I think mentally and what I want for me long term, you know? But I appreciate the fact that we do have women that are out there stepping up, doing shit that they weren't doing before. Like, these women nowadays are completely different than what my mom was, and 1,000% different than what my grandmother was. And I like it, you know. I like it for real. I welcome it.
I'm glad you said that.
I welcome it.
That makes things balanced, right? The carbon copy was overwhelming. You know?
No, I agree. Yeah. But you brought up a good point, and I guess my next question now. Here's why it's my next question is because I love, like, to your point, right, where nowadays people are actually looking at contracts, they're looking at shady deals, they are being independent, they're making their own music, they're doing that. But then you got, you know, based on your role and what you do, you got those women that are being shaped by the label, the record label. So this could be this nice upbringing chick. She got bars, but she don't look the part. Yeah. Now she's being sexualized, right? Now she's being presented a certain way, and they're like, "Nah, you know, you need to rap about this. You got to rap about you coming. You got to rap about dick. You got to rap about, you know, it's got to be a bag." And they're like, "Damn, I was making good raps just like real lyrics." Yeah. Now you forcing me to have an image, so now you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror anymore because they done shaped you to be certain different. So I mean, what's your opinion, like the women that are, it's low-key modern day pimping, to be honest, or sex trafficking, because you are really legit saying, you know what, I'm gonna take you. I think you have talent, but now I want you to look a certain way because that's what everybody else wants you to look like. I'm gonna make you a lot of money. I'm gonna make a little bit of money off of you, but I'm gonna make you a lot of money, and I'm going to change who you really are because this is who people want you to be.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I've enjoyed all of the documentaries this 50th year of hip hop, and I've specifically been watching the ones that have been dedicated to the women of hip hop with, you know, some of the same challenges. They have some of the same rhetoric that you just gave about, hey, we respect all of it, but can we please see all of it? You know, can every type of artist get the same, you know, radio play, get the same, you know, label backing, right? And when I think about labels, you get the label of the label. It's really the choice. You know, we have successful independent artists. If you want to take that harder route, you have the option now to do your own thing on so many different platforms. if you make the choice. If you choose to go under a label that's marketing to this capitalistic industry that has to make money, then you got to go get that BBL and you got to rap like you don't have no sense.
Right.
And I don't mean common sense, I mean basic education.
Right. Yeah.
So in saying that, we understand that that's what they want to feed us, just like you can trace it back to the East Coast, West Coast battle. We understand what propaganda did to that, you know, and we understand that if it's a label, you have to take the label and the image that they're offered, and it is going to be a harder route. It is going to make less money, because when we think about consumers, most of our, and if not all of our extremely successful artists are successful because of the amount of white followers that they have.
Yeah.
And if they are the ones that are making sure they stream some things that we may deem as degrading or complete foolishness, then them numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Ice Spice. I like her. Don't get me wrong, but I mean that's an example of somebody who they like. You know what? Yeah, you look cute. You got some good bars, but now we're gonna make you look totally different. We're gonna reshape you. We're gonna have your music change a little bit. That's an example, right? So it's like, okay, are you still you?
Yeah.
Or at the end of the day, you made this money. You look back 15 years. I mean, you look back 15 years from now, and you're like, damn, I don't even recognize who I am anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could be
I
very
mean,
toxic.
that's
to
in
a lot
every
of-
that's in every industry
Yeah.
though. If you get
Heavy
out
in
of the right
entertainment,
heavy
though.
in entertainment,
Yeah.
we can say heavy in politics, you lose yourself. You know,
Oh, yeah.
if you're a black
Oh, yeah.
man that's gonna climb to the C-suite and you know consumed by what that looks like, you can lose yourself. You can
True.
lose your identity.
You're right.
So it's a risk every time. But for every artist like an Ice Spice that was completely rebranded, you have her. You got Ari Lennox. You got Alex Isley. You got some heavy, authentic, natural, soulful artists. You know that can hop ratchet if they want to. I'm sure.
You know, Ari Lennox is
No,
struggling a
Ari,
little bit.
man, because Ari Lennox she be singing about that. She be
do.
singing about that shit. And
But
I,
she
be struggling,
absolutely. But to be it is the
But I
same.
agree
It's
with you. I agree
melodic.
with
It's
you.
a vibe.
Yep,
You know,
yep, I agree with you.
You know, sometimes it's the change for the better or the worse. So
with
it-
everything.
I don't understand. Like, how do you navigate that? Like, just trying to stay your authentic self, and knowing that I could risk losing a lot of money or potential deals and things like that because I'm not, what I'm saying, shaping to what they want me to be. Like, how do people navigate that?
I think you navigate it with understanding that there aren't so many things that you need to be happy. And I think that when you add, materials and things that are acquired by a certain amount of money to give you your happy, you do run the risk of losing your soul. It's an old adage, and we all have heard it before. So if being your most authentic self, meaning in your art, whether you are, a DJ that's on YouTube or you like to, produce in the basement, if you're gifting it, you really just have to stay true to who you are so you can sustain that. Or you have to understand how long you're going to play a game and when you're going to get out.
There we go. True.
So if you have to make those decisions based on how much you can take, right? So if whatever industry you're in or whatever, goals that you have, you got to say, okay, I can play this game. I can code switch like this a little longer. I can dress like this and rap like this a little longer, but I'm stacking to open this business, or I'm gonna start a label, or I'm about to do my own streaming platform. You create your own exit if you got to go into it, but you also have to have authentic people around you that make you happy. So
That's
that
it
it's
right
not,
there.
you're not
That's
trying to
right
buy
there.
yourself and buy your joy and buy your happiness. So if everything falls apart, you still got your people. And you're like, I tried that, didn't work.
and that's with any occupation though. That can be corporate. That can be anything really. So,
Yeah.
So this happiness thing, that was also
happiness thing.
that's another topic that we wanted to discuss. So it's just crazy how you just kind of segue right into that.
We got a connection.
So in relationships, is it on your partner to ensure that you are happy and that you're, how do I want to phrase to ensure, is it on your partner to ensure your happiness in this relationship? Like, should you or should you be happy alone by yourself and then together y'all come and y'all create something beautiful? Or is it strictly on your partner to say, hey, I'm not happy today, figure it out? No.
I'm gonna say absolutely not. But if you my person, I'm gonna try my best. But it doesn't work if the person isn't happy. Like I've had someone trying their best, and I've been the person trying my best, and you can't quite get there because you're truly not happy. So I think that it's on your person to maybe be patient enough to help you understand why you can't get to happy.
It's your
and
partner.
what that looks like.
It's your partner's job to enhance that happiness more so than
to give it to you.
To give it to you.
Because that's no such thing. You can't give someone happiness, but you can attempt to take it away.
Yeah.
She said, well, everybody has a thing.
Yeah.
Some people's things are their teeth. Her thing is nails. A lot of men that chip nail polish, it's I don't know, it's the most unkept thing for some of you guys. And, you know, some people, I mean, I remember one of my brothers doesn't like when a woman's middle toe is longer than her big toe.
That's great. She can't do nothing about that.
Yeah, right. I don't mess with stuff that's like, yo, you just born.
But but some people can do. Some people don't like freckles, but love freckles.
But you know, I don't like big areolas, so you're right.
Me either. I don't like that either.
No offense to it. You know, that's just not my preference.
I welcome it all.
Like big
I welcome. I'll slap a pepperoni on it.
Oh my goodness,
More like
the
a pancake.
pepperoni.
But you know, women got their preferences when it comes down to the genitals too. So
We definitely do. We don't like to get through the hairy monster. We're glad that you guys are manscaping.
You got too much of a curve. You look like
Listen. I don't know who said that.
I did have one more question because we kind of coming to a close, but
It goes by so fast.
I know.
When you have
Engaging
fun.
conversation, you know? Yeah. But I did have one more question, and there was another one about like coming into relationships, and I know we talked about happiness, but another one was the traumas. Coming into relationships, how do you think not addressing your traumas and dealing with your traumas, how do you think that affects the health of this relationship that you are you're looking to get into?
I think it develops a cancer of the relationship. You know, I think everything else in health, we say early detection is key, you know, and starting early with your workout, be consistent. It's the same thing with your first date questions. It's the same thing with the idea of what are we talking about when we land up? What type of movies are we watching that are going to make us have a conversation about what would you do? What would you say? What do you eat? What do you think? And unfortunately, you know that you want to have sex with the person on site. Usually that's the initial attraction. And it's not about pacing the sex. It's about knowing who you turn into after you have the sex. Do I not ask as many questions as I was going to ask about this girl's history if I have sex first? Am I going to be caught up in complete, all of how good the sex is and how good the dick is and kind of brush over some of the things that I knew I needed to ask about? So sometimes just pacing out the dates and discussing, some family things, history in college, what happened to you here, why do you think like this? Before you know it, you're already discussing some things that have hurt you or traumatized you, and maybe getting an understanding of some things that you guys might have to work through so you can determine how many challenges you can deal with this person. Sometimes you may understand that it's too many. Maybe the traumas match too much, and that's not gonna work. Or maybe the things that are challenging about her or him work for me because I can deal with that.
Right.
And then that's how you determine the next step.
So wait, should you have already worked through these traumas before you get in a relationship, or should you and your partner be working on these together?
I will say that most therapists that couples attend direct them back to do their individual therapy.
Yep.
Because it's one thing to work on a unit. It's challenging if I'm healing and you're not. I'm coming back to the couples therapy more advanced than you, right? So if we go on a detox together and we start working out together, you can clearly see who's been disciplined and who hasn't. And healed people can hear and feel and smell hurt people because your language changes, how you handle your emotions change, so you understand the thickness of somebody who is kind of still in their shit. And if that's somebody that you are married to or partnered with, you gotta go and do your work and fight your wars for yourself, and then you come back and fight for each other. So, but if you start early while you're single, right now in therapy, single, then you can show up cleaned off a little bit, and it makes it a little easier to like do the whole fall in love and build a life thing because you got some of the dirt out the way.
And it works in reverse too, because those
Absolutely.
hurt people smell. They be like,
Hurt
oh,
people,
this
hurt
person think they
people.
better than me because they got their shit together. They done dealt with their
they will
traumas.
come for you.
The classic saying, right?
Yeah.
Hurt people,
Hurt people, hurt
Yeah.
people.
So they will. They
that's tough.
attack you. They go after you, and we've all been there, right?
Yeah,
We take a shot,
and you
so-
have to set them boundaries and get away.
Yeah.
Oh, if you them
Get
first
a
3
Red
months,
flags, red
if you
flags.
got
see
too
the red
much
flag.
baggage in them first like 2 months, I'm like, you know what? You handle this.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to take on that baggage. I ain't got the capacity
Yeah.
to take on that baggage with you.
And sometimes 60 days is a long
Yeah,
time. Like the
yeah.
older you get and the more you know yourself, you know, you can find a vibe in a couple of weeks.
Right.
You know, and understand, okay, this is something I can build on. But, you know, if you with somebody and you walk in front of an elder and they don't speak, it's kind of like that's a character flaw according to my culture, right?
Right. I've been
I don't
teaching
know
my
if
son
I
that.
have enough time to explain to you why when you go in someone's home and there's an elder there, you greet. I have to cross that off the list
You
now.
go to anybody home, you should greet.
You should.
But I agree with you.
But the
elders.
reverence
Yes,
is kind of
yes.
like once you know
Respect
what's
your elders.
core to
Right.
you, it's like, okay, if you don't do that, it's a few more things that follow that, or something happened. Oh, we different. It ain't gonna work.
Right. I
What's up?
agree.
What's up?
But saying you can't cook, it's like we can do classes.
Yeah, we can
work
figure
through
this
that.
We
Yeah.
can go on
We can
YouTube and
You may
figure
find a
this
passion
out.
for it.
You know? right.
Yeah, but I
But yeah, fix them early.
yeah, I'm a strong proponent of that, and that was something that I was strongly. I wouldn't say I was strongly against before, but it was like 2 girlfriends before who were just like, no, you should probably
Yeah.
go to therapy and understand why you think this way, or why you're still holding on to these issues that are
Yeah.
deeply rooted in who you are. And once I like did the work, I was just like, damn, I wasn't thinking about it, but when you kind of sit down and you're talking through it, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, because your parents did this is why you. And I was just like, damn, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
and then
like,
you get to forgive yourself because you're like, I didn't even know. How was I supposed to know? I was a kid, or I didn't even think. I didn't have the tools to know how to think. But to sit down with someone new and be able to articulate who you are,
yeah,
that's a vibe in and of itself because we're not talking what shows we binging and our color and our drip and we checking for each other. It's like, this is who I am.
yeah.
You know, and let's see if we can rock with it and tell me who you are. And then if she can't articulate herself, now you have to decide
If there's something I want.
how much am I going to teach here?
Right. I think people just that just boils down to people being scared of vulnerability. You know, because
People are.
people don't want to expose themselves and have the fear of someone not accepting them because of what they've been through and who they are. And I've learned just in my journey itself, like, it's okay to be vulnerable with the right person, and at that time, if you let them decide if they want to deal with it or
Yeah,
not,
because
you know?
being loved for who you are, that's good. That's a good life.
Right.
And that if you can truly be safe and have somebody say, I love that crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I don't have to fake because anything I was pretending to be can't be sustained. And it's not fair for me to let you fall in love with the brand or something else.
Yeah.
And then when I show up that day, you got a raw deal. When honestly, if you are, quirky and weird and funny, or an artist or a hippie, or feel like you from another time, somebody is like, man, that's my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's all about patience and pushing through things that make no sense, things that don't feel good, because love is truly the path of least resistance. It don't hurt and it's not hard.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make it fit and contort yourself and pretend to be, a vegan
force
and
it.
pretend to make more money and you know what I'm saying, acting like, it's kind of like it gets to hurting after a while.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
I respect
I
it.
agree.
Good stuff.
So as we come to a close, we've been closing. We've been starting a new thing. Where we
I see
closing.
these
Let you go ahead
cards.
and,
They done got a deck of
so
cards.
you get one card you can pull and ask, and you can direct it
is
to
water, Mike.
whoever you want the question to be towards. So we'll let you lead. And we're gonna go second. Is your turn to pull? I think it's your turn.
I
You
pulled
pulled
the
the first time, right?
I pulled the card, asked the question, and directed
And
whoever
direct it
I
to
want.
whoever you want. Yeah.
A man is getting married and wants to invite his ex. His fiance refuses and says that if she attends, there will be no wedding. Is she overreacting? Explain, Lester.
I feel like that's an easy one, though. That's
super easy.
That's an easy one. Hell no, you can't invite her. Y'all think I would even bring this up to my wife or my fiance to bring my ex? And I'm cool with a
wrote
lot of my
these?
exes, but I wouldn't dare.
Why would you even want your ex then?
I wouldn't dare want my ex, even if it's strictly platonic. Like even if we've grown, like I wouldn't even dare want my ex at my wedding.
That's a cheesy question. I got jilted.
Yeah, go ahead.
let's
Ask
get
another
another
one.
one.
That's
Super easy.
Why?
The fact that
You'll be
that's a question means
surprised.
there's a lot of people that.
That's what I'm about to say. You'll be surprised. It's some people that will invite their ex
These
or
weddings
their
are
baby
like
mamas. You'll be
but
surprised.
now to show off or to flex is like tell your wife just how shallow and vain and ignorant you are, and tell her the truth. Be like, listen, I hate
that's
this.
crazy.
She never thought it was gonna be me. I would have. I want to show out. Your wife might be like, fuck her, bring her.
Yeah, but then you gotta ask, do you still have feelings towards this person because you?
Not if,
No,
if
no,
I
no.
can't. If
If y'all
your man
relationship-
comes
right.
and that's your best
I wanna
friend, and you like,
clown.
listen. This what she did to me. She clowned me when I was grinding. I ain't had no money. Now I'm a man.
Back when
I
I was
want
a
her to
bum.
come and see the wedding that she ain't never gonna have.
Yeah.
If your best friend / fiance is with the shits with you,
I agree. That's
she'll
that-
be like, you know what? Yup.
That's that 20%. That's that 20% that's gonna do that goon shit. But I get that.
Exactly. It's like she's petty. I'm gonna have to fix this. Okay. After dating your significant other for a year, you find out they have a child they never told you about. What happens next? Dun dun dun.
What you got, AJ?
Man, depending on how the relationship's
love
going. I love it. Depending on how the relationship's going. Well, like
It's been a
I
year.
love her. I love her.
It's been a year. You love her.
I mean, we're gonna have to have a conversation about
That's
where's this kid
rough.
been. But I mean, it's at that point I probably don't trust that person.
I mean,
Everything's a
trust-
lie.
trust-
Everything's a lie after that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about every
That's-
date,
that's
every
crazy.
phone call. Was that your baby needing you?
'Cause me-
when I sent you that money, was you buying diapers? Was
Right,
like,
right.
It
And
changes
Yeah,
everything.
the whole
Your
dynamic.
kid is a part of you now.
Part of you.
Can't hide your kid for a year.
Yeah.
What type of person,
What kind of person are you?
you?
Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
there are dudes
Yeah.
out there that's like that though. But
They
I
are.
mean, but that was a part of the culture too.
And me,
I was having that conversation. It was
Granddad.
definitely mama's baby,
my
daddy's
grandma
baby.
and my dad.
me right now, I
Granddad
ain't
for
dating
sure.
nobody with kids. You got kids, I'm kind of cool.
What?
So that
You one of those?
I mean, I have
Damn,
before,
dog.
but
Okay,
right now
okay.
it's just not. It's
I
just not for
understand.
me.
You said you did it.
Not for-
I did it
and
before.
that's
For you
not-
right now.
Yeah, he
So they
said
got a
no.
kid right now. You meet them, they not for you. Damn, that's hard.
I'm on
You
my
wanna
own
be bothered.
foundation, and I
I said
Yeah.
that when I was like 19, 20.
I
That made
dated a
sense.
person with
Damn,
somebody
why
with a
you-
kid.
why you-
When I
the
was
point-
when
the
I
point
was
that I'm
20,
making
21.
is-
But your wife had her first children with you.
Yeah,
no,
but the point, no, so I
it
said
could
I've
be a
been there,
wish.
But I here's
Let
the
me make
point.
my own.
Before I met my wife, once I got to a certain age and a certain elevation of life, I was like, you know what? I'm at the place where I can accept one kid.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause at the end of the day, I mean, if you 28, 29, 30, and you meeting a young, successful woman that got her thing going on,
It's an
she might have
anomaly.
dated somebody prior to
Yeah.
you.
It
just depends on the
Might have
situation.
happened.
Yeah.
There's a good chance
Don't
that
let
this
him
day
be
and age
Depends
they're
on
gonna
the
have a
situation.
kid.
Yeah.
But you can be picky. I
Yeah.
can be picky.
I ain't gonna
You
never hate
prefer.
you for being picky, bro. You do
be
what you
picky.
do.
Is it
I
on
used,
who's
I
supposed
used to be like that too, but then I had to take a step back and was just like,
I've
well,
dated with a kid,
I have a
though.
whole stepmom, so she essentially did the exact same thing. So I just put
Okay.
myself in her shoes and was like, well, you accepted me as a plus one when you and my dad decided to get engaged and get married. So who am I to be like, well, yeah, no, I don't.
Valid.
I don't want to. I'd be a hypocrite if I said no. Yeah, that is my preference, but also like I understand where I come from, so I'm
Although
okay
if he's
with
1
that.
year or less, yeah, I ain't doing it. Well, you know, 6-month-year-old? Hell no.
That math is not math.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Bring us home with Dr. Back, man.
You just okay. Well, yeah. I guess it's on me. What does it say? Jerry had all the good questions. He's shuffling.
Yeah, he definitely. Our last guest shuffled through all of them.
Nah, he got it marked.
You you inquire about the number of sexual partners your significant
Lame.
other. All right.
Yeah,
Who wrote? Nobody.
that.
Are you going on dates saying like how many people? Like,
yeah, you can't do that no more.
what are we meeting at our locker?
Plus, I mean, if you're a professional dater, you can gauge how many bodies they got. But we're like, you're a little loose, girl.
Just kidding.
You're a little bit too open right now.
Lester's using his senior citizen words. What he means is, you've lived
Right,
and decided
you've
to
lived
get
and
married
lived
later in life.
Yeah,
And you're
I respect
showing
the
up
people
with
that
your
live
STI
backwards.
screening.
I respect the people that live backwards. So they got married early and they got divorced and they live
Yeah.
their life. Hands down, I'm like, yeah, live your life then. I'll be down for it.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
You need a
Let's
moment.
see.
Man, just pick a word.
You want something juicy for her.
I do.
Yeah, the deck is kind of, no
Let
shame.
me go back to this. Let me go back to this one. I guess we're going because this was this was a question about the
Hit me.
ooh.
That's the one.
Do you believe you have only one soulmate?
No.
Really?
I agree with her.
No.
Halle Berry is not your soulmate.
I know. That's what I said. I agree that you don't have only one soulmate. I thought like that was just made up by somebody.
I want to hear your explanation on that.
I think that, you know, love is extensive, and so is your soul. It's as vast as you allow it to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could say my best friend is my soulmate, you know, truly, for the role that she plays in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I truly believed, you know, that other relationships that I was in where I was like, you know what, I'm in love. They really speak to who I am right now, who I am changed. And then I connect and reconnect to the same man that I married.
Right.
So it doesn't make any other, you know, spaces less than. I feel like, you know, my oldest brother is one of the great loves of my life. Like truly just, you know, I'm just as fearful of the day he transitions as like my husband. It's like, oh my God, that it would break my heart. That's my soul. So I don't think that, you know, there's this cosmic thing that you're looking for to complete you and what we've kind of romanticized.
Right.
I think that you build and build and build, and before you know it, you and this person have so many connections that your language is the same, your taste is the same, you're kind of like vibing in the way your rhythm is on, you know, sex is a dance, everything is an exploration because of this like rule, this gumbo you've been building, and you keep adding sauce year after year, growth moment after growth moment, and it's like, this my soulmate right now.
Yeah, true.
You know, and like
Okay.
no genie in
People
the
change
bottle.
like the seasons.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Damn.
I don't believe that one and
Okay,
done
I
type
like
thing,
that.
man.
Yeah.
No,
I like that.
respect.
Yeah.
These niggas, man.
It's fun when you can stick with one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What I'm gonna do with you now? Let's see.
We always appreciate you coming on
course.
the show.
Always have a good
It was
time.
definitely enjoyable. It
Yes.
was a vibe. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing a lot of your wisdom with
Absolutely.
us. And with the fans too. With that being
Yeah.
said, let them know where they can find you.
Listen, you can find me at Dr. H Mac on Instagram, and of course HaredMcDowel.com. Got some cool stuff coming up. I know they're gonna spell it out for you, so you can know what I have going on. Can I invite people to stuff yet? We at that part?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. It's your time to shine.
Listen, last fundraiser for Pretty Ink is December 1st. My company was added to Beyonce's Black Parade route this
shit.
summer,
That's
and
what's
that
up.
was a vibe. She, you know, we had a 4 seasons lunch, and you know, it was inspirational, and I met some dynamic small business owners. But from that, we've gotten a lot of insight on a lot of things that we want to do next. So we got a private viewing of Renaissance, the film by Beyonce, and it's on opening night, December 1st, and it's Sprinter Dinner and a Movie. So we party busting up to a
Dinner
private
and a
theater,
movie.
and we gonna eat and drink and sing. And I have a special trivia game for the men that attend called Men Love Beyonce. And the sponsors that have put together this basket.
I was like,
And then stop. Exactly. I think if you date a Beyonce fan or married to one, you gotta
yeah.
you know some things on
Gotcha.
accident, and we want to make sure that we honor the fellas on that. So we'll drop the link so you guys can get a ticket to join us
Definitely.
opening night.
yeah, appreciate it.
What's up?
Yeah.
You know where to find me on Instagram at thejjones_05.
You got less is more, man. Bald ass less. That's where I'm at everywhere. Holla.
Got your boy Handsome Phenom, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Thank y'all for joining the Gentleman's
Thank
Lounge.
you. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
We out.